Hi guys, it's Kristen from A Mindful Mom, where I get into the kitchen and share with you easy, family-friendly recipes. Today I'm sharing with you one of my favorites, my baked Italian meatballs. I'm going to share with you my tips and tricks to making the most tender, flavorful meatball you have ever had. To start, we need to mix up our binding ingredients for these meatballs, which is just the filler, the breadcrumbs and the spices. You want to mix these together first so that they're evenly mixed before adding your meat. To a mixing bowl, add in beef broth, milk, an egg, and Parmesan cheese. If you can, use freshly grated Parmesan cheese that you grate right off a block. It's going to make a world of difference in flavor. You can certainly use pre-grated Parmesan cheese, but it's the little things that make these meatballs the best that you've ever had. Add in chopped fresh parsley and breadcrumbs. I use just homemade breadcrumbs, which is just leftover scraps of bread that I've blended up in the food processor and let dry out. You can certainly use panko breadcrumbs or traditional Italian seasoned breadcrumbs from your grocery store. You can also use gluten-free oats if you would like to keep these meatballs gluten-free. I did that many times and it works perfectly. To season your meatballs, add in salt, crushed red pepper flakes, dried oregano, and minced garlic. Mix that well until your binding ingredients are well incorporated. Now that our binding ingredients are mixed up for our meatballs, it's time to add in our meat. You can use any ground meat that you like: ground beef, ground pork, ground sausage, ground chicken, ground turkey, or even ground bison. I recommend though that you stick to a fat ratio between 10 and 20%. That will ensure these meatballs are flavorful because they have enough fat, but that they don't have too much fat content that they're greasy. Using your hands, mix up your meat mixture into your binding ingredients. And now for a very important tip. Do not overmix your meatballs. This will cause your meat to be tough, and that's the last thing that you want. Once your meat is nice and combined with your ingredients, you want to use 1 tablespoon mixture to roll into a meatball. I like to use a little cookie scoop to keep these meatballs all uniform in size. And that really helps to ensure the meatballs bake evenly and at the same temperature, so that we don't have one meatball that's underdone and one meatball that's overcooked and dried out. Place your meatballs onto a lightly greased, rimmed sheet pan. Once you've placed your meatballs onto your baking sheet, now's the time for the best tip ever. Pour some beef broth onto your baking sheet. Your meatballs will steam in the oven in this beef broth while they absorb the rich flavor, and the beef broth will eventually evaporate off, which will help the meatballs crisp up on the outside, but stay tender and soft and super flavorful on the inside. Bake your meatballs at 450 degrees for 25 minutes. Once your meatballs are baked, serve up with some pasta and marinara sauce, or use them as meatball subs, or dip with your favorite dips. But I promise you, these are going to be the best meatballs you have ever had. I hope that you guys enjoy, and for more family-friendly recipes, be sure to visit amindfulmom.com. See you next time.